Yeah, they fuck shit up.
Yeah.
They're devious bastards.
Yeah. Chickens are cool though. Yeah, that guy has a bunch of chickens and crows and shit, and in the morning it does what crows do.
Do what fucking crows?
Crows. What are they called? Roosters.
Roosters.
Cocks. I was thinking cocks.
I'm sure you were.
Think about, me think about cocks. They be calling all the time. Especially in the sun in the morning, just like my cock. Am I right? Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was thinking about old school like shit that we be talking about, and I was thinking about like the first. I like how we always like make it like a guy, like there's a guy to be the first dude to like do something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't think most stuff is like that. Like, it's like
You think about the dude. You think about one dude.
I always think about one dude.
One dude doing
The first
everything.
dude.
He's doing everything, dude.
No, but I do kind of think about it like being like always like there was a person at one point who had to do it first, right?
Yeah. It had to happen.
Yeah, it had to happen. And there was a guy or a girl or a person who did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking about that with signs.
Signs?
That, like,
Never just gotta make a sign.
yeah, never just gotta be like, okay, I gotta write this shit down and put it up.
Yeah. Yeah, people walk by and be like, yo.
Yeah, I was thinking like of it coming from frustration. Of it being like, please stop.
Ask you,
or like stop doing this thing.
Yeah.
How can I express to people to stop doing this?
Right. Yeah. I guess a sign is a label. Public label.
Yeah. I was trying to look it up. I was like, who invented signs? And it was like sign language.
They're like Mel Gibson.
That's hilarious. Fucking M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan. Actually,
the inventor of signs.
Yeah. In 16
Well, they
BC.
basically kept doing that. They were being like fucking... sign language was created by fucking... And I'm like, no, that's not... Sign language came late.
Yeah,
Came way late.
I don't know. Do you think sign? I kind of like
it's
that.
attributed to fucking Ponce de Leon.
Okay.
Some
Who's
Spanish.
that? Okay,
That's
yeah.
Spanish.
Well, like sign language as like an official language, like signing something to get someone to know what you mean. Like that's old.
No, but is that sign
That's
language?
what I thought. You're like, that was come here.
Like, it's like someone who speaks sign language. Like it's like a different accent.
Yeah.
Like you're speaking a different like language.
Yeah. I guess there is like dialects to sign language. Is
there?
Mm-hmm. My sister does like sign. She works with people that sign.
So like some people are like someone from like upper class New York.
Yeah.
Like that person's a gangster.
Yeah, you're right. Like, oh, classy.
They're gang signs.
Yeah, they're gang signs. All right. Yeah. That's funny. Dude, that was one of my jokes for the Daniel Alvarez roast. It was his only gang sign he uses now, the one that said handicap up.
That's hilarious.
Rude. Shout out Daniel. Yeah, but signs, like that has to be like the first, like, pointing. You come over here.
Yeah.
I would always, when you brought that up, I thought it'd be like, like someone first was like rocks. You know what I mean? Like put a sign on rocks, but it would have to be like a receipt or something.
It was marketing. It was for like come to my shop.
Yeah.
We sell things.
Yeah.
Stuff you can buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trade.
that makes sense. Yeah, like fucking
marketplaces,
shit.
Probably.
Yard sale over here, ass shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yard sale this Friday.
Things. How can I? It's still funny to be like, I'm sick of telling all these people. So many people are passing. I can't talk to them.
Yeah, I can't talk to them all.
I can't. How can? Yeah.
Yeah.
What if these things that I'm saying? That's what trips me out about those kind of things. Like, how natural is a sign?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
Cause like I think it's different than writing, right? Cause like
that's what I first thought was like if I'm trying to get someone to know something I want to say.
Yeah, I would like write it down.
You write it down.
Give it to them.
Right, a letter.
Yeah, who's the first person to do that? to give someone a note. Those are the kind of things I want to do.
Yeah. Well, the Sumerians invented writing, like.
Yeah, so they're probably
like
they came up when I started to like try and look up who are the sign
the sign people who made the signs. Yeah, because they got like.
Hey, we just got back from this place, dude. They have these things everywhere.
Yeah,
shit's written down.
It's so easy to get around over there.
Yeah. The first people to like use signs like as we know it were like Romans.
Interesting.
They were the first people to like write shit down on stuff.
I wonder if it's also a population thing. Like once the population gets big enough, you can't talk to everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
everyone gather around.
Everyone gather around. I'm selling forks over there. Those are my forks, and they're $2.
Someone's like, hold on, we got this community board.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like a dorm room. You know, town square. The town square.
The town square. Posted in the town square.
In the marketplace where people would go buy shit.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that is interesting that's tied because that's tied to commerce, you know, and trade and like the natural, you know, politics of being human, you know.
Mm-hmm. Probably travel, like people traveling, because that was like a big part of commerce in the early days. Right?
Yeah, and you like language is always obviously something people have to get over, you know what I mean? Like a obstacle.
Yeah.
Like if I come to your town and we speak different languages, now it's like, you know, we all have to sit down and figure this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at this. I have this. You like that? And they're like, you know, and they're like, kook. And you're like, yeah, that's what you say that? All right. How much, you know, kooks you want? we got go kooks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That kind of stuff's interesting.
Yeah, like ancient trade, like when you think about like the beginning of civilization, like Sumer started by like Iran, pretty much, and like the peninsula, the little where the rivers come through. That's like the first civilization because they came up with writing, and they got to like Morocco, like you know what I mean, like. That's like far,
as far
as fuck, you know. So it's like, and like the Mongol, like the way empires expand and like the way people have been meshing, that's like old as fuck, dude. Migration, you know. Like
that's like a plant, like it's like plants and like animals, you know?
Seeds.
They fucking spread around, spreading.
Yeah, searching for life. Mm-hmm. You know, like ivy, you know.
Yeah, I was actually I went to the Natural History Museum a few days ago, and they have like a exhibit about how Los Angeles is like how it became LA, and there's like a whole thing of like the indigenous and stuff.
Yeah,
and
the Tongva.
Yeah, and about how a lot of the diversity in the plants here are because of the animals that came from Europe and their dung would fucking spread all kind of plants all over the place.
Yeah, all the seeds and shit.
And I was like. That's a crazy like I guess biological like function, you know what I mean, to be like a seed carrier of other species.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I started to think about like plants being like not conscious, but like being like surviving
to reproduce themselves. Yeah.
And that kind of stuff trips me out.
Yeah, dude. That's why I like that book *Sapiens*. They talk about how the most successful organism in the world is wheat. Because it mind virus us.
Yeah, to grow it.
To growing it, and it domesticated us in a way. If you think about it like that, like on pure numbers, like the grain production is insane. And like that's obviously a plant. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like.
Imagine if we could mind virus something to, like, cultivate humans in a way that like is ideal for our growth.
Right. I guess that Inception growth. Yeah.
I mean, AI. No, just imagine inventing a tool that can create an ideal situation for you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That's cool to think about.
That is cool to think about.
I don't even know how to word that thought. I'm trying to think of. I used AI because that's like something that we've made now, what people have made now, that is like, people are like, this is beyond my ability to, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, because like AI is, as much as cool as it is kind of like you don't eat AI, you know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying, like, but like, wheat doesn't eat humans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
like getting a superorganism to create a ideal situation for you to thrive. and
Right.
grow.
The Matrix theory, where that alien forced us to be their life force.
Right, but backwards.
Right.
Where
How?
we
We volunteer.
okay, let's use the Matrix. Dude, imagine if we were like, the world sucks.
Yeah.
Let's figure out like this thing can put us into this machine and it's gonna live off of us. But we'll all be able to live in this fucking world where anything's possible.
Interesting. That's like what's the Cybertruck for the mind, Neuralink.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that before. Of like being like willingly being.
Yeah. Well, that's a blue
battery.
pill, right? You know what I mean? Being like accepting that.
Well, the blue pill is ignorance.
Oh.
The blue pill is like you wake up and think all this.
Oh,
is a
you're
dream.
saying you truly are
You're
down.
aware.
Yeah.
And you're being like.
That's like Happy Sisyphus theory, you know?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Because you're accepting that you are doomed to be exploited for the purpose of, you know, a known reality that you can,
Yeah.
you know.
But then, because wouldn't that change things? Like, if we know about it, then like we don't have to like do the struggle thing. Like, why is that a part of it? That's something I don't understand about the whole deity thing. Is like, why is struggle and suffer got to be a part of the whole thing?
Yeah.
It does not make sense to me.
Well, that's like, you know, I don't know, you know how I feel about religion. I think it's like a guidance tool, but people are trying to find reasons for suffering. You know, like I feel like somewhat religion comes out of suffering. Like you can't separate suffering from
No,
certain,
you're 100% right.
you know?
Religion is a tool to deal with
suffering. Like something bad happens to you, and you're like, fuck, I gotta figure out why this happened. It can't just be because things happen. No. Things just don't happen.
They happen.
You know?
Sometimes things just happen.
This can't just have happened. I have to have. Where's the man I get to see about this?
Yeah. There's somebody dealing with it.
Yes,
Obviously.
We'll figure it, you know. Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't understand is the top-down version of that, of like God being like, well, you got to suffer.
Yeah.
Because then how are you going to deal with it if you don't suffer?
Right. Yeah.
I heard a person make the argument of like, basically being like, there's a stone wall for that, which is like, why, if animals aren't like going to heaven, like why is a deer in pain? Like why aren't all animals herbivores?
Right.
You know what I mean? Easy solution to like end a lot of suffering that happens.
Yeah.
Because the deer's not going to learn a lesson from this.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. He's not gonna see his dear mom and dad when it's finally dying.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be like, oh, now that I've dealt with these kind of things before. Now you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is just another challenge from God. Yeah. Well, there is like I don't know. I feel like the adjustment to whatever your like trauma, like that has like whatever happened to our psyche, we're like traumatized. You know what I mean? I guess like animals can get traumatized.
Yeah,
and,
for
like,
sure.
You know.
I mean, you that's the survival thing. You know?
Yeah, because like everything at the end of the day is like a biological response to not die.
No, for sure,
know?
and that makes sense. It's that leading up. Like those actions leading towards some sort of
mind virus,
afterlife.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, the idea, because I do like the idea of just a mind virus in general, because that kind of feels what like religion is. You know, like these like you can argue like all kind of cultures and persisting ideas are mind viruses. You know, like.
Right.
Like the reason why I think the Virgin Mary is like when I see it on a wall in the hood, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that's an idea that's in my head. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with me. How like I'm gonna eat tonight or I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it has no physical like true, tangible feeling on my life, but it's something sentimental about me and like about my, obviously how I grew up with religion and stuff. like as a coping mechanism for reality.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, no, I understand that because like that's like the same thing with numerology and like all of those things that people use for anchors.
Yeah, astrology, you know, all these things. And which astrology, if you think about it, like that's like the most realistic one. If you like, there's at least like a motion of the planets. Like we can, you know.
I mean, yeah, I get that.
Like, but it's like it's funny.
It's the text part that gets me.
Yeah,
when they draw text from it.
Yeah,
like all of this stuff means.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that's like my question for everyone that's like super into that stuff. I'm like, where did this come from?
Right.
And they're like, it's ancient.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've done more research. It's feeling based. All of the words, all of the horoscope stuff, it's feeling based.
Of course.
You look at the moon and the stars, and then you go, I feel like people who are born in August are pieces of shit.
Yeah, I actually hate them. They're actually the worst ones.
They're actually bad people.
And they're like happy about it.
And they shouldn't make any financial decisions in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And maybe they should take risks in a place they were avoiding in their life.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. There is an aspect of that for sure. You know, but again, you know, I tend to be more romantic and have a feeling like everything, because of the way time works, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. You know.
Yeah.
And
the only thing I got like where I get caught up in that whole thing is that like things are happening and that's weird.
That is
that shouldn't be. Nothing should be happening.
Nothing should be happening. Yeah. Sure.
So like that already is like magic.
Maybe you're right. Oh, right.
You know what I mean? It's already magical that like we're even having
nothing should be happening.
Nothing should be happening at all.
Yes. And the fact that things are happening.
Yeah, we exist at all is fucking insane.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm glad for it.
Yeah.
But it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean that kind of is like the basis of religion, right? You know, it's like
that's the same. That's what I'm saying. That like that's the thing that gets me caught up. I'm like, damn, like how can I realize this?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's like, you know,
the problem with religion's main problem is all the people that believe in it.
Yeah, it's Rick and Morty fan theory.
Yeah,
Rick and Morty's great, but the fans suck.
The fans suck, and it makes me hate the show.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the show was great. The first couple seasons. First couple seasons.
Season 1, 2 of Christ.
Yeah, great.
It's probably awesome.
You
Actually, I don't know. New Testament, Old Testament. Old Testament stuff's pretty weird.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't fuck with the Bible. I only know what I feel, you know?
Yeah.
Because the Bible at the end of the day is like a historical, political document. You know, like that's what it is. You know?
Yeah.
It's a philosophical argument that has been backed by violence.
That's true. That is true.
So like if I view it like that, you know what I mean? But the feeling that it evokes is something to respect. Respect.
I get what you're saying.
You know?
I get what you're saying. Certain aspects of it.
So yeah, well, like just like the yearning, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the desire, the horniness, that you know that you know.
Holiness.
Your horniness.
I just struck my lightning.
Yeah. Like,
That's the sound it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
I do have an issue with a conscious universe. That makes me feel weird. Except for I'm conscious. So
yeah.
So like consciousness obviously exists.
Right.
Because I'm experiencing it, I think.
Right. Well, that's the weak thing is like, does it matter if it's not conscious? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of conscious if you're telling me that you're reproducing these seeds that...
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like plants. Like, I always am like, oh, plants are conscious. And people are always like, nah, they just go towards the sun. It's like, well, what the fuck?
The thing about that is, though, is that there's no intention. They're reacting. It's like a process. Like, they're not going to not do that.
So, right.
You know what I mean?
But isn't that some form of consciousness?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
because like the plant's not going to do this. The plant's not questioning whether or not it's conscious at all.
Right.
It's just acting.
We're on the higher end of the consciousness spectrum in my mind. And the way I think about it. You know?
Here you go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, okay. No, but that's how I think about it. Because there's two things happening in your own body. Like, I'm not telling my heart to pump. It does that itself.
Right.
But I thought that mechanism is a somewhat like, on some level, a conscious energy that it's reacting. You
Well,
know what I mean?
like there's those Buddhists that like choose when to die. Do you know the monks that
No.
they
stop their heart. Dang, that's pretty.
and they like die in like
emo.
a meditative pose.
Yeah. That's how David Lynch died, meditating.
Really?
Yeah, in a meditative pose.
That's crazy.
Isn't that sick?
Yeah, that's insane.
Apple probably knew he was gonna die and fucking
Transcendental meditation. That's those guys who do that too.
Yeah. Like, what's the do? Astral projection? Like, guys that can lucid dream and shit?
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Dog. Dog.
That's insane. Astral projection, lucid dreaming.
Yeah. I've always been really interested because of waking life, you know what I mean? Waking life.
Yeah.
Like that, like in between area of like consciousness. Because like even still, like I have so many ideas like right before I go to bed. You're just laying down and you're like, oh, that's funny, or like, you know, and like there's some part of that little something about consciousness I don't fully understand that is so like satisfying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause like most of consciousness is suffering. You know, like going back to suffering. Like right. I'm awake and now I'm thirsty. You know what I mean? It's like shit. Now I'm tired. You know, like most of consciousness is bargaining with.
And that's why I go mechanical over spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm like, my consciousness is here to serve that. Like my brain. You were saying like brain virus. I'm like we have this little alien thing in us. You know what I mean? And it's like got all these systems to help it stay alive.
Yeah.
And like that's our fucking and in that way we are like the plant and like not really making these choices. You know what I mean? Because these things are all like our need to socialize and our need to eat. Like what you're saying, like drink water. Like that's. Your thirst is just your body being like, get me this thing to keep me alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because that's sort of the real thing. Like, I try to focus my ideas on, like, do they impact that or do they not? You know, like the basic survival idea, like food, shelter, like emotional connection. And then there's like another like sphere of consciousness where we kind of play around like, oh, you know, what is it like? Is this plant look at me? You know what I mean? Like you know, that's why they're, you know, the human can do that, and that's the joy of being human, because most of life is suffering and work, you know, and then like the few moments of beauty. You know, or like satisfaction, like one of those is conscious thought, you know, and this idea of like us even questioning the cosmos and even wondering like,
understanding
what does that star do? You know what I mean? Like even exactly. Yeah. You know, like understanding individuality and like a natural curiosity of whatever is going on. Like that's cool, you know, because like again, like I forget, the deer isn't doing that. The deer isn't like looking around and being like, man, like, dude, is my deer dad too mean to my mom dad? You know what I mean? Like, they're not really, you know what I mean? Like,
no, they don't care.
They don't care. Like, there's like an interesting kind of observe characteristic that we have that is like really cool. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of our survival too, right?
Sure.
It's like we come from trees or some shit. Isn't that a thing?
Sure.
That we were like
I mean, we're monkeys, yeah, I imagine. Well, we're like little clans, you know what I mean? So social things are so big, you know. That's why the I hate this shit with the loneliness epidemic. Ugh.
The loneliness epidemic, dude, it's a problem. I be lonely as shit, so I feel it.
Yeah,
but also like I'm not always alone. That's why I go out and I hang with my bros.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And I spend time with people.
Yeah, I guess it's true because I've never like. I mean, the loneliest I've ever felt when I was traveling in my truck and I was on the like living in my truck for those 2 years, and like it was like in Denver, I started feeling pretty alone. And there's something about it felt like the Wild West, like the frontier.
Right. And then like, was that the furthest you've ever been from everyone you know?
Pretty much Denver, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've been in Texas, but I was at that point. I was like 8 months. I've been alone, pretty much. And like that's when I started getting alone, like loneliness. But like that's like isolation, you know. And like, there's something to me that is so annoyed with the bro, like the classic the lonely guy, or you're on, you're all over, you're on like fucking Call of Duty online and shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like hooked into these screens and these like easy methods of whatever connection. Mm-hmm. But then you get in the real world and it's like you can't recreate that.
Yeah. Well, you can.
Yeah, exactly.
They do.
Exactly. Oh, well, the Call of Duty reference. Yeah, of course. But like the whole thing about Call of Duty, like when you play online, there is some like you want to be talking to somebody, like that part of that culture, like they be talking to each other, and that's like the only time like guys can
say
open up.
N-word.
Yeah, say the N-word. Open up.
Hold on, I'm gonna go reset the camera.
Some call it opening up.
Yeah, some call it opening up. It's a funny group of individuals like sympathize.